Here I am, oh, with this bright light behind me. So we'll do little lighting issues here. I'm a work in progress always. Anyway, I wanted to welcome you to my beach report today. I'm going to have a guest on. Wait, I have to send her the link. I've not interviewed anybody on my show before. Hi, Laura. So we'll see how this works. I'm super excited about it, though. Let's see if I can get her to come on. Try now. So super excited too. Oh, there she is. There she is. Add. Okay. Okay. Hi, Marita. Blue. Does it work? Does it work? Yeah, it's Blue. Hi,
Yes.
Blue.
Hello,
I can't
Julie.
hear you. Say something.
Hello?
I just see a smile.
Can you hear me now? Yes, no,
Okay, wait a minute. I'm
nothing?
not here. Hold on. We've got issues with well, maybe I'll take off my I have my phone sorry, going down my shirt. All right, let's see if this helps.
We'll get there.
Nope. You doing, girl? All right. Does this help any?
Can everyone hear
I hear.
me?
Oh. Okay.
Okay,
So my
cool.
microphone isn't working with this. It is what it is. Can you hear me, Blue?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly fine, Joe.
All right. Kathy says she can hear us. Marita hears Blue. Everyone hears Blue.
All right.
You guys hear me?
So I got my friends back here behind me.
Oh, so cool. You know, you have not done this yet. I'm glad that we're doing it in this format because this is something I think that will help people to understand you a little bit better and what you do. And to have your, is that Space Force people behind you? No.
No, it's just it's just a place I go to help. It's a friend's place, so friend's
Okay.
place.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, friend's warehouse. It's a friend's warehouse.
Okay.
So, yep,
Um, so are you still working with Space Force?
absolutely.
All right. So
That has not stopped.
sorry, what was that?
I said that has not stopped.
Good. Okay. All right. So, just a little background here because this is a new audience for me now on YouTube. Of course, we've got a lot of people who have been watching me for years. Yeah, they want to see your face. And they know Blue. So, Blue has been on my Facebook show many, many times. And it's very interesting always to talk to Blue because she has a very, let's say, a different take on everything. But as far as working with Space Force, I think today it's very important. We all want to know about drones. And I've been hearing Space Force bandied about in
You're
conjunction.
breaking up a little bit.
Okay, you talk now. Tell us what you know about those drones.
The drones?
The drones.
Absolutely. I do know some sorts of what's going on, and scanning our perimeters of effect and coordinating through those areas had elevated through certain types of unmanned substructures. So let's say there are important areas that have been scanned and or scanning, or they're trying to find something in those areas of effect. And they're going on a certain timelines. Now remember, these drones aren't getting shot down. They're affiliated with the government.
That's what I thought
The
too.
government is allowing it.
Obviously.
But now if it is affiliated motive event and it is something good, then the coordinators would survey certain areas and see that there's an affliction or some type of elevation or something wrong going upon that area. But if these certain drones are not of such, the surveillance that they are causing may impose a problem. We do have to remember Even though Donald Trump has gone back in office recently, we still have a lot of the corporation of the governments still corrupted. And that's going to take time to clean out. When it
Clearly.
comes to these certain objects, we would pay attention. Some of these drones, though affiliated humans think they are, but they think they're something else, may possibly be something else because we did recently have an anomaly happen recently.
Tell us about
And
that.
that anomaly is an elevator of a star nexus port, that is an augmentation to the Nibiru's intact subsystems that had pretty much traversed the electromagnetic infield barriers upon the plateaus of the planet. Since Donald Trump, even him, since he has gone into office, a lot of the refined negative energy had been lifted up from the core itself. The reason why I'm saying this, because there is a lot of corrupted entities out there that when this had happened, that governance that they had got cut off. It scared them and it provoked. Just because he's in the office, though, we got to pay attention because these negative entities, they would try something.
Well, I think
But
it's sorry, go
going
ahead.
back to the Nexus portals is a good thing, though, because it runs on the foundations of opening up active barrier lines and as well as opening up an actual rift for certain star representatives to come into this planet and to help and assist and clean up.
Okay. So Ginger's asking, yes, this is the alien. This is Blue, you guys. So Blue, tell everybody a little bit about yourself because like I said, this is kind of a new audience and they don't know who you are. And I told them you're an alien. So can you tell them a little bit more about that?
Well, I have an autobiography that explains about my augmented starseed biogeneric sequencing code, as well as the formal code that runs into it, the Aether distribution scene. Hyperevaluation terms run to the Zeta Reticuli gray races and the subcouncils of certain reptilian. The maintenance speed that does go into the hierarchy as well, that runs through several star races and into the Intergalactic Federation of the Councils. We maintain the codes of ethics. The military portion part that we deal with is more augmented through an ET platform. That platform runs on coordinate streams with several PSYOP military agendas. Those PSYOP military agendas run through Air Force, run through certain speeds in the Space Force, run through NASA, as well as SpaceX and Space Corps itself. Area 51 does monitor our activities as star bearers when we deal with the diligence that we deal with up above and underneath, and even in between the plateau of this planet. Our coordinates is running on maintaining the codes of ethics of what's going on above the plateau. That means if there's problems referring to the weather or problems referring to an electromagnetic knockout or problems referring to a communications term, and even in space, we have to maintain that. And there's also coordinates that could deal with underground affairs as well. And we relay information towards these departments so it helps that assist them to the ones that are ground crew, the physical term of the military department.
It sounds to me like you're not the only one.
Now, there are other star seeds that work through the force department, but there are not many of us, and we coordinate with the higher agenda speeds of the main military the units that deal with the different portions. Navy, SpaceX, Space Force, NASA, Army, all of them. All the units, they still have to be maintained to one. And they pay attention to that.
What
But
is
as a starseed myself, besides the military part, sorry, Jilly.
no, it's
As a
okay.
starseed myself, besides the military part, as my form is supposed to be maintained here to help this planet move to the new age. I am an architect as well, so I do create several blueprints for different organizations. I draw them out, I explain about them, There have been the quantum medical beds. There have been the armor device, which had recently been sent to another sector. It's a medical device closer to the quantum medical bed, but it's a handheld sub scanner that uses hyper radon effects, scans differences in the skin or any type of blemishes or cuts or bruises or just problems in the outer skin of the DNA structure itself, or remodifies it or regenerates it. We have been working through several different platforms as well besides this.
So when it comes to the med beds, is that a way of helping humans realize that we do have the ability to heal ourselves?
Yes, that is a hyperdynamic scale of it, but there is also the lower dynamic scales. The lower dynamic scales would deal with the Neurotech Neuralink apertures. And we already currently know about Elon Musk. And yes, he's working with Donald Trump. People pay attention. Ain't nothing negative about him. There might be certain things he needs to distribute a bit better, like implementing a Neuralink, and we're going to get there soon. Is the augmented speed of regeneralizing or regenerating the DNA format through neural tech. But let's say that substandard is moved forward, so it's a magnet and it's implemented on the back of the neck module going upwards instead of something going inside of the actual brain module. This would be something that could pose a possible asset in the near future for mankind, because once certain generative forms, certain neurons hit the incubator nodes of the structure itself that's intact through the DNA, it opens up a whole different net of things. Humans already have a regenerative property. That's why if you get a small cut, it heals over time or something else. But it's much lower than what they could pose for. This property itself would help elevate that. It would also help elevate the neurons in the mind. So that way, if you're having some type of neural issue, it helps rehabilitate it. It finds the differences in it and cuts that off.
There's so much we could talk about regarding that. We'll have to do that at another show because I could go down a rabbit hole with you on that one. But I do want to get back to the kind of the subject at hand, which everybody is concerned about. And it sounds like you're telling us that these drones, I guess most of them are our government. Are there some of them that aren't?
Yes, like I said, there's been a recent star nexus portal activation upon anomaly effect. We've been paying attention to the moon and the sun. They have been moving in odd directions the past few weeks for a reason and disappearing. Now, the anomaly is opening up these portals and reactivating certain substructures of star races into this planetary realm to help and assist. Supposedly, survey drones, if they were on our side, they could help implement to certain areas and see what problems are at hand. But supposedly, if we're not, then we need to pay attention. Now, to the star units that are, and people know that they are representatives from other races, there is something big coming. In the Anunnaki Council, distributors are opened up with that, and the Bureau's intact frequency drive system have already affiliated to several starports opening. And there is something coming up very soon with certain PSYOP event with governments behind the scenes and extraterrestrial races. And that cooperative event is more or less a type of intergalactic summits meeting.
Wow.
And it's behind the scenes.
So, what are we as humans supposed to do? Should we? I know that fear is never a good answer to any situation, but, and I don't want people to be afraid of anything that they learn on this show. I want people to be empowered with the truth, facts. So, what do you think that people can do when something crazy happens? When it looks
Well,
crazy?
if it's something and they know it's not going to harm the indexing points of mankind, I wouldn't be too concerned. But if they're affiliated like this spray, the mist, if you will, because I don't know if you heard about that too.
I did
There
hear
have been certain areas affiliated with the mist. Some of that may not be governed right, but some of it is. And if it's not governed right, then they need to reactivate the particles that are being incubated on a lower frequency scale and redirect its molecular structure, because those molecules may pose a problem. Now, I do have information that's directed to an electromagnetic infield or grid interference line in the near future that could impose a threat upon certain areas. And I can knock off the electromagnetic field barriers upon those areas. And what the imposition or problem with that runs through is actual certain types of star inbred races that can motivate themselves through these nexus ports. Monitorization needs to be placed outwards because we've already had field disturbances here recently.
What does this have to do with these drones being so large? Like, what is up with the size? And I mean, I don't think anybody ever
Like
knew.
I said, some of these are not man. They're not. They don't have a device within them that has an entity in it. There are some that are not deviated with that, but then there are some that possibly have some type of entity in it. The reason why there are different scales of them, like I said, some of these units are reverse technology drones and could be extraterrestrial in origin and cooperative with the government and surveillance to certain affiliated areas of importance.
So when you say cooperate with the government, which clearly, as you are cooperating with the government, so this has got to be going on not just your kind but others too, right? Do you think?
Like I said, monitoring their actions would be a must for those in the Air Force and those that work on our side, depending on where they're implementing this action from.
Okay, so when something happens in the near future, what should our response be just as regular citizens? Is there anything we need to do? I mean, I know I saw people calling for shooting at the drones. That seems like a really bad idea. I don't think do that for sure. But is there anything that we can do, or is it just like stay in the house and wait it out?
Well, to those that work on the good side, so the government needs to look into this deeper. That to the ones that are already allowing it, and if the ones that are allowing it are maintaining to the most of effect for humankind, that you're not getting harmed, that you shouldn't have to worry about it. There's a reason that you've been scanning for a while, but paying attention to these certain areas of effect needs to be on high alert.
What do you think
Some
is
of these could be cooperative with ours. That's all I could say. And the
okay?
surveillance could be imposed on something on a good scale. But for humans to shoot at it and the government warning them not to, don't do it. Don't shoot at it. Leave it alone. If they're already saying to leave it be for a reason.
I know it's really hard for Americans right now. They've lost trust in the government, like especially the current government. So it's really difficult for us to listen to these officials and hear what they're saying and believe anything that comes out of their mouths. So, that's a big problem in America today. What do you think about that?
Well, everyone has fear, and then they put that fear into a platform that accelerates. As far as we're concerned, pay attention to these drones, pay attention to what they're doing, and if they start causing an issue, there's a way to knock out the electromagnetic fields that are in place through it, right back to the connector itself. We already know some representatives of higher races, and if they work with us, then not to do anything to alleviate or to polarize them downward from what they're maintaining for. Cooperative level needs to be paid attention for that when it's dealing with certain things that could affect the human race.
So I've heard
And for
that. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I've heard that there are alien craft, aircraft, or whatever, all around Earth right now. That this is a very special time in the
That
universe.
is true. That is true. So, like I said, don't start shooting down something until you know. If they had a cooperative level with it, then there's a reason for that. But if anything on its end goes on the wrong wavelength, then we need to pay attention with it. And we need to do something and step up. We do not need to have any more warfare happening upon this planet. Humans do not have to have anything on fear based mode either. Yes, there are certain things coming into effect as of starting in January, and that could improvise what's really going on behind the scenes, including extraterrestrials, including what Area 51 has been diagnosing, including with others like certain areas in Cheyenne Mountain, and there are certain military agendas that have been cooperative with the Air Force and departments of the Council of the Intergalactic Races. Reverse technologies that have been militarized and accepted with that protocol. Militarized strategic maneuvers behind the scenes that humans are not aware of, including what it was statalized about a current race that could possibly be coming. And we even paid attention in the upper hemisphere and noticed that there are certain storms up there that don't look like they are storms. They act different,
There's
and then they make some type. Yeah, that's not a storm. Okay, let's just think about something that they're hiding behind those clouds. Possibly, if you hear subatomic booms and rain don't come down, different lights, different colors of lights. Think about that. Think real quick. They say that might be electromagnetic or electrofuel storm or this or that. There's something much deeper go behind the scenes that people are well not aware of. Extraterrestrial reverse technologies and hyphenated with different star races between good and bad and cooperative military governments that are possibly imposing intergalactic war above the hemisphere.
You just said war above the hemisphere between other entities, nothing to do with humans.
No, but in order for planetary systems to be on a saving grace and lower codes from not to get hit by that, they have to have a way of fundamentally hiding it and fundamentally keeping them from getting harmed. So there's a camouflagic way for the atmosphere to be obtained through reenactment of certain particles. Those particles could redirect the scenes of events and make it feel like those seen from below are seeing something else when it's not. And
Does
there have been several intergalactic wars recently happening,
is
especially since he had gone into office.
well, does it also have to do? Are there holograms in also involved in this, or is this something that we can't even imagine?
Well, it's projected weather dynamics hidden upon a scenario where in the upper hemisphere that they are categorizing certain wars against each other, the star units. And yes, there's a cooperative event with military and government through that as well. And you got to understand there are several portals that could be activated upon this plateau. And it doesn't have to mean it comes from us. CERN and as well as other corporations have a fundamental way of opening up certain portals.
Yeah.
And some of those companies in it are not good.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell us about CERN a little bit more? What's been going on? Didn't they fail in their mission to open up a portal, or were they successful?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you mess with a portal and you try to redirect it the right way, it could backfire on itself and it could cause a tear upon that substructure. And all in all, that could mess with the electromagnetic barrier upon the core itself of where the realm is. It can extend out into the outer cosmos. So yeah, that could impose a problem. And if they did have a malfunction, that could possibly impose a problem upon the planet. It
Yeah.
could be causing certain types of not huge catastrophic events, but very mild in certain areas. It
So I
could
just
affect
want
the dynamics from underneath.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. I just want to point out to everybody, if you are skeptical of what Blue's talking about, we are talking about things that are really happening in this world. Like CERN is they're really trying to open up a portal. That's a real thing. And to just dismiss it as like this is weird, I don't understand. I think that it bears a little more investigation, because why would they, somebody, and I don't know who it is. Do you know who it is spending money for CERN? I mean, it's millions of dollars in order to try to do this thing, and so they must believe it, which, I just think it gives, it gives you, you got to think about these things are going around us, and especially sitting on thrones. It is, and orbs, said some of them behaving like we don't know, and behave that way, like disappearing and making big turns super fast. I mean, it's all a bunch of weirdness, but true. It's all true. I mean, and whether it's a hologram, and or it's something real, they're definitely to mess with humans on Earth, right? Is it about us, or it's bigger than us?
Oh, part of what you said broke off the connection, so
Oh,
I'll try to bear in and decipher it. So the drones, it happens. They try to fix screw with us. It's fine. The drones, we just only have concern, yes, monitorization, surveyors, gaining information in certain areas and retrieving that back. The mist itself could improvise a problem because the biochemical agents in it would screw up a certain neurons upon the infrastructure. And I'm just going to say this to a certain entity. Do you see this?
yes.
I'm here for the planet. I didn't come here for certain elevated sectors. And just so you know, glory will be coming to this whole entire planet. There will no longer become sectors or countries soon, because the people who have diagnosed that and try to fight against each other would ultimately have to turn over to the conjunctures of the new foundations of law. Their sectors will be maintained on their codes of ethics, but the distributors eventually, very soon, are going to move into the Intergalactic Federation. And that plateau motivates into one for the entire planet to work together. So I have nothing else to say, but glory to the entire planet of Earth
I
and Agartha and the inner realms and the outer races, because that's what's coming. That is what's coming for everybody.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you gave us this message of hope and peace and glory for the planet. That's wonderful.
Well, it is what somebody put down about a certain sector here, but for him to say that, he needs to understand that that doesn't revolve around there, but it revolves around the whole planet. And this whole planet's going to be affected by what we're doing, what our star seeds are doing. Nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing.
Wow. Love it. Okay, then. So I guess everybody hold on to your hats. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but we're going to get there in the end, right?
Right. I mean, even Elon Musk, because he moved into the Department of Government Efficiency, and that's supposed to be moving and cleaning out a lot of the negative government apertures being diagnosed here. We have several others in the department that are moving forward, but when they be exposing is the ET standards too. And if we've been paying attention on X and other platforms, he's already coding it out there between him and Donald Trump and other entities. They're going to expose about these technologies that were hidden. And Donald Trump is going to let everyone know about these medical sciences, how they had been assisted with him from higher terrestrial races, and how he had been cooperating with these races for a while.
Well, we've been hearing about it for a long time. So I'm ready. I'm ready just to see it be real. Be very interesting. All right. Well,
Right.
is there anything else you want to say?
Oh, no, it's just, is there any questions anyone wants to ask? How
Oh,
about that?
yeah, you guys are always full of questions. So now's your time. Squatch wants to know about the Nazi bell. Do you know anything about a Nazi bell? I don't know what that is, Squatch.
I believe so. There have been similar aspects with other bills too, that that diagnosis stream could move as a There are certain symmetry lines that run at hertz frequencies, and as well as it could possibly open up some type of portal,
Oh,
the
wow.
distributor. They could have replaced it too with an inadequate platform. We do know that the Liberty, the Statue of Liberty, I've explained about this before. Nikola Tesla, the torch that was replaced, the original, it had an original lining of his assistants at one time, and it had some type of advanced equipment within it, advanced generated equipment to help. So there are similar objects that run through the mainframe of important entities throughout the ages, whether they're good or bad.
So all this stuff is happening right under our noses, and we don't really know anything about it. It's kind of
Well,
crazy.
Adolf Hitler was a time traveler and had assistance from other extraterrestrial entities. Him and a lady that worked with him.
Wow.
And the coordinates is try to screw around with the other area in Antarctica off the oceanic perimeter, I believe. So, and that had created certain, well, a little bit of a war off the ocean, dealing with Navy substructures and other entities. And Adolf Hitler supposedly had disappeared and not passed away. And there's a way for him to be have done that, including others supposedly that had passed away, but really had disappeared or maneuvered around the timelines.
I've heard that. That's really interesting. Les wants to know, do you think we are part of a coexisting organism called Earth? I mean, that's kind of like obvious, right?
Well, actually, it goes much deeper than that. There's more than the Earth than people understand. When you go into Agartha, you go past the Antarctic wall, you would understand there's a whole nother Earth itself. It's and that it runs on through several star races, advanced technologies, anti-gravitational portals, magnetical or anti-magnetical to magnetical interfaces that can be able to maneuver certain islands or certain cities into the air through that gravitational platform. There's as well as regenerated medicines, maneuvering through the mind through hypertelepathy communication, which that honestly is going to physically come for mankind soon. That part.
Wow.
It goes on and on. There are cooperative levels with certain military and what they deal with. On the levels at Antarctica, they have to monitor the activity. There are certain domains that are hidden from some negative types of military or conjunctures through scientific equations and corporations that are hidden that have the hyper sciences or advanced technologies and or cooperated through negative entities, including some types of real reptilians, but main cooperators go through the Draconian races, as well as the matriarch through the matriarch gray and the Orient grays. There are as well as a similitude of, I believe, some of the smaller types of white grays, but they run through a single, or running into an equalization speed that can go both ways. There have been several mantoid species that have cooperated on a negative level too, but that was only because they had incubated a certain type of mind control platforms.
Wow. So Les adds the other side of the moon might have anti-gravity structure being the lunar locked, tidal lock. What do you think about that?
Well, the moon runs on an augmented wave code that could jump from one place to the other. It is inhabited by cooperative species of extraterrestrial gray. That's why they had hidden the real moon landing from something else. That wasn't real. It was a fake. It was incubated because the astronauts who had met these races had to keep it a secret, had to keep certain things a secret from mankind. The moon and the sun and Mars and other infrastructures play a vital role to manipulating this current matrix. And that because of that, the inside of those infrastructures could be habitable, just like this one. And the
Wow.
geometric or geomagnetical waves are manipulated through them as well.
You know, when you tell me these things, Blue, I feel like this is why humans don't know this stuff. It's a lot. It's way a lot. It's hard for us to you know, we're still wrapping our minds around aliens in the first place. You know, for you to tell us this, it's really fascinating because it's crazy to think that we are the only ones. I don't think that's even possible. Um, so Don wants to know, where are you from? I know you tell them where is your planet of origin?
Cylon and the Celion Galaxy and all Sirius B5481216 galaxies. I did send my autobiography and posted it up on Facebook a little while ago. It's going to be towards my network page, USFDETQ Force through Mike Salvka, and we will have a Q&A for that sometime in January when he gets back on perimeter. So if anyone has any particular questions, the document is already posted on my Facebook. A lot of the things about what my star race does, where we come from, what we're capable of, what I'm currently capable of as a starseed, and what still needs to be implemented here.
Yeah, I'm really
So,
glad that you did that. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure everybody check out Blue's page on Facebook. She goes under Blue Crystalline Phoenix.
right.
See, do you guys have any other questions? Oh, Valiant Thor. I don't, I forget what is Valiant Thor. Do you know what Valiant Thor is, Blue?
Obviously, Thor is some type of higher entity code maintained through a lower augmented stream, and it's replicating on something that's systematically in an equation to, how do I say this on a low code of effect? It's like a warrior, if you will, a god warrior.
Okay.
You know, Valiant Thors is someone who's maintained the code of ethics. Thors were distributed as the demigods seen before. Explained about someone who has certain improvised abilities. It has been some type of warrior in his stance. I believe Thor runs through the hammer of justice.
The Hammer of Justice, indeed.
Yeah.
Good. I have a quick question too. You mentioned that Hitler was a time traveler. Is it also, I think it's possible that President Trump is a time traveler. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, as my alternated quantum twin, I know people get confused about that. DNA, are you family, or this? This is different. If you look up quantum twin, look it up on there as another level, another meaning for it. It's an alternated dimensional code of a twin on a quantum level.
Oh,
On that level, it can affect things. Their link is relayed between each other, and they could pose more information and abilities than others. And they run on a certain timeline event. And because of they running on a certain timeline event, they have motions for that, and they have to deal with that, and it can affect things around them.
okay.
Quantum levels of twins only run through certain important entities. Donald Trump himself has run through another timeline, another dimension. Per se, he's extraterrestrial in a way, if you will. So
Uh,
he does have star generator forms within him, but
yeah.
then maintains in another code altogether that runs on several star systems.
Okay. I'm sorry. We have to go back to the Valiant Thor thing because I didn't recall what Squatch was talking about. Now I remember. He's talking about Valiant Thor was a person who said that they were a time traveler, and this person met with Eisenhower in the 50s. Do you know anything about that?
Not the person, but I do know of Eisenhower meeting with certain corporations of extraterrestrial entities. And that was documented and hidden behind the scenes, and that they had to deal with those laws. And they still are holding on to those laws, and it does affect the corporations that deal with those in leadership, as well as what's being maintained for humankind. There have been things hidden too that had to be maintained for that law.
Wow. Um, Now I'm going to get off that subject because that's really interesting, but also kind of I mean, aliens have been part of our planet for a very long time, haven't they? Like always, always. Um,
Almost all the presidents that are coordinated through the White House have run into some type of star representative and had to deal with them.
yeah.
There is a secret sector, a secret spot in the White House and other areas around it that holds certain star races, star representatives, and humans and coordinates. So they go to this particular area away from people, and they have uh, um, a meeting, if you will. That's why sometimes people have seen some type of star unit or something around in that area, or
Cool.
they've heard about lights going on. There's reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's one. The Pentagon holds it. The White House holds it. There are certain areas in California that hold it. There's certain areas in Nevada, including around Area 51, and corporations to Cheyenne Mountain and the Intergalactic Coastal Highway, the extraterrestrial highway that holds it. So we do have star races that go in and out through military bases as well as leadership protocols. And has been doing that for several years, for quite a while.
Okay. Now let's go to has another question about Ascalon stones from the mountain of El Toro.
Can you repeat what you said?
Ascalon stones from the mountain of El Toro.
Stones. You broke up again. Aztec stones, you said?
It is he. It's
Oh,
Aztlan.
Aztec.
Aslan. I don't know. I've never seen that word before. So
That doesn't sound familiar, but I have to see. Ask him if he could just text it again, because I don't know where it's
can
at. And
you text that again, Les, please? Okay. Well, we wait for Les to do that. Oh, alien artifacts. They're alien artifacts from the mountain of El Toro. Is that
I'd
in?
have to look at the picture. I'd
Excellent.
have to look at the actual, yeah. I mean, alien artifacts are so many
I
types.
was gonna say,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
not going to give me much
yeah,
to go
that
by.
is,
I'm sorry, my friend.
yeah. That's like the aliens in Miami. Remember that one? It's like always something. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you'll have to
Bass
be a
Girl,
little bit more descriptive.
yeah, yeah, I get. Bass Girl has a question that you often get on my show. Are rhesus negative blood type people from another planet?
Genetic sequencing could augment the neural wave matters as well as the subjuncture of the code itself and requalify that certain code into effect. So there are several entities here, like myself, that have a different type of blood type or a different type of blood. And that similitude of blood does affect it differently than others. But it can be rearranged. The molecular structure could be reanimated differently. So I can't really give you a definitive answer for that because when others reintake other forms, it could it redirects the molecules in it. There are certain entities like the Palladians in Serbia. Oh, this is another thing. This is what I wanted to explain about too. There are, and we know about Nikola Tesla, and we know his origin had come from Serbia, and then we know that there are Palladians there in humanoid structures. Their blood type's different, so you're not far off. There are certain entities out there, Martians, Nordics, others Greys, Arcees, Stars, Bears. We got different genetic structure or different molecular structure. It resonates more than the humans. But going back to Serbia with the Palladians, there is an improvisation of a cause and effect against them currently. And that corruptedness is it's imposing a problem. Believe it or not, a lot of what has been improvised, including the diagnosis streams of what was known through ancient technologies, ancient writing, and inscriptions that are much more advanced, had run on a lineage from there. and run on the lineage from other places as well.
So, I think about the Bible and just going back to the Nephilim having relations with the women, or the that all that story. So, is that an alien story? I mean, it's definitely goes back to our origins, the Bible like that.
Well, it's a bit off what you're saying. There are two star races of origin, and one's negative, and it's running in hybridization sorts. And the Nephilim are giants. Those are encrypted beings, and they have a similitude of giant DNA structure of humanoid within them and extraterrestrial. They can become as big as mountains,
Wow.
and they can have wings. These type of entities, there are not many of them. They could come up from the ground, and they have caused a problem for quite a long time. And just recently, we had a government and or psyop government against one of these entities that broke loose and caused major disaster, and it killed quite a few humans, and they ended up having to get rid of it. The Nephilim are not the Anunnaki race, though. The Anunnaki race are like the giants too, but they are much smaller, and they run through the councils and sectors of the Nibiru's intact system, as well as the intergalactic council races of the Star Federation. Those that they confuse them a little bit with each other in the inscription of the biblical terms. And the biblical terms have been rerouted several times over, and the Vatican do hide a lot of the extraterrestrial domain and the divine domain, including the Book of Enoch itself.
Oh, yes, I've heard about that. And somebody else also brought up the Vatican portal. What's that all about? There's a portal at the Vatican?
Well, the Vatican, there are implementers, just like there are implementers to the Illuminati, as well as the Rothschilds, that have a good foundation that have run through star races for several eons before the foundations were placed here. And they are older corporations, and they know their terms between good and evil. And then they have the more negative ones that are wanting to run the corrupt diagnoses strings of the subsystems and have acknowledged them from other races. Those improvise a problem. Now, the renown of the Intergalactic Council know that those in the that deal with the maintainment code of the light itself, the levels of leadership, had to go by that flow. Otherwise, we're having a redirectional problem speed. The Vatican holds portals. Yes, they have held portals for many eons. That's why they have things hidden underground from mankind, including vast libraries. There is a mix, though, just like there is a mix with the Illuminati and in the mix with the Rothschilds, there's good and bad. Whether or not the corporations that move and motivate themselves through that wavelength is going to depend on who they work with.
Who they work with out there or on Earth?
The corporations that deal with the high order of elites maintain code of ethics from several different types of star races, depending on where those SECTS sects of corporations go, and the differences that part with it.
Okay, basketball is a great question. As light workers, how can we help good overcome evil, elite, Satan?
Wean out the good from the bad, clean it out, replace or redirect the neuron wavelength matters. There are other corporations that can maintain the code of ethics and redistribute that back into effect. And it's just going to have to take time, and it has to take a firm law for this to happen. Time and motivation.
Were you very what did you think when President Trump won the election? Were you surprised or expected? Or what do you think about humans after that?
Well, I mean, he did almost get shot twice.
He did get
Like they
shot.
tried to assassinate him twice,
Yeah.
and that should have been an eye opener for people there. And especially since Biden had hinted and coded out before the first time this happened that there's a bullseye coming, and how he had even allowed Harris into the effect afterwards and it disappeared should have made people really wake up. But
It
now that we have Donald Trump in the office, now he has to prove and provide the other code of ethics he's promised. And it includes two factors, two main assets for this planet. Number one is cooperating with the new levels of AI, where it will go, what it will do for mankind, and how it will help regenerate the population again. Number two, exposing, well, actually, there's three things. Two, exposing the crimes of the Draconians, current administration, or the administration, not the current, but on his, but the Biden administration for what they have done, exposing the crimes for the trafficking, exposing the crimes for the drugs and the cartelling, exposing the crimes for the weapons, exposing the crimes for the diligence of these entities going into local or lower organizations and causing problems, and it includes some of the health departments, and it includes what they are doing with building and the infrastructure with that. They're spraying things all over the place, the chemicals. People don't even pay attention. They're destroying a lot of the lands to replace for buildings, and there could be a better way to do this. And this, like where I'm at in West Palm Beach, it's like a 15-minute city now. It's gotten so bad, so congested. Now, yes, with Donald Trump, there's got to be a way to redirect us. There's got to be a way to redefine the earth again. And that includes AI, exposing the crimes for these entities, including them eating cats and dogs and animals and other things, and doing crimes that are way perverse, way above the substandards of mankind, what they should do. And as well as Donald Trump helping to expose things from behind the scenes of the extraterrestrial technologies, the different star seeds, the fact that he's a star representative, that he had worked with had dealing with Nikola Tesla with certain technologies and equipment with his level of term, improvisation, dealing with John F. Kennedy Jr. and certain motives that were aligned with that. There it goes, so on. It just goes and goes and goes.
John,
I could. Oh
President
my gosh.
John, I think that's a big deal too. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot for humans. Sometimes it's very overwhelming, but I feel like they call this the Great Awakening for a reason. And I feel like I guess, is it time for humans to now join the galactic universe as members instead of just, you know, not knowing what's going on?
We have to have hope, and that's another thing is we got to have protection as well. Now we have to start protecting, and we start putting in good terms for where we're at currently in this country and outwards. We got to start making the better laws now. We got to remove these unethical laws as well. They're not going to help mankind. But I don't even want to go there. It's a whole nother time.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. So I
For
love people that are watching right now. It seems like everybody's really tapped into you and understand what you're talking about. And that's great. And is there anything else that you want to add, or does anybody have any more questions? Les says Chief Golden Light Eagle and Grandmother Silver Star would sit with me and Mazat scene and talk about knowledge. You remember Golden Light Eagle?
Okay. Do you want a Native American lineage? Are you talking about something that's Native American as well? I'm asking for less.
I know.
Because a lot of the Native Americans that deal with the run on through a certain code, certain maintaining speeds, they run through the star gods. They run through
Yes,
other races.
yes,
They
Star
run
Knowledge.
through the Sasquatch as well. Yep, there you go.
I
So
love. Thank
that
you.
could be maintained through humanoids that have elevated their codes and other star bearers between the ages. Do you recall what native? what Native American line, tribe, if you will, is what their tribe name. I know Lakotas run through the Star Bearers, there's several others. Do you have a certain Native American lineage line? Is there a name for your tribe?
Lakota.
Lakota. There you go. There you go. That just gave the answer. They're one of the main tribes that know a lot of the ancient languages in hierarchy of certain civilizations and or entities. There are others too, but they're one of the main ones.
I guess that's why
And
lesson teaches us the
yeah,
math.
the respect of divine. Yep.
Yeah. Sounds to me like the natives, the Incas and the other ones, the down in Mexico, those guys were all about math.
The Incas, the Peruvian Greys,
Yeah.
but they're Peruvian Grey extraterrestrial races. They're smaller than our star races. They've been exposed as the mummified remains were exposed before. They do run in an ancient line as well, and there are several triliteral pyramids that run through an ancient line that could go through nativity streams.
We have Margon. She's a Hopi. He or she. Oh, we've got our Indians are here. Do you know about the TLS, the light system?
The what
The
system?
light system.
Well, it's got to be a little bit more explanatory, please,
Yeah,
Dawn.
yeah. More on that one, John. No.
Please, and thank you. Freemasonry, like I said, there are corporations that are good, and there are corporations that run on the negative substream.
Mm-hmm.
Those certain entities that know they're doing wrong that run through that organization, they're going to end up being turned over from what they are maintaining for. Like I said, the renown in the Illuminati and the run through the Vatican of old that already know between good and evil still diagnose that outwards because they have to maintain the code of ethics for governing of the certain planetary realm that they're in as a higher order over the lower order of effects. There are certain entities that disengage from that though, and they had caused.
Oh, we lost her. Oh, there you
Oh
are.
yeah, see,
Messing with
they
us.
Don't like when I say certain things.
They
That's
don't.
okay.
This has happened
You know,
before.
I'm not saying the full Illuminati is bad. I'm saying that there are certain entities that in an encrypted effect that may need to be re-improvised. So don't always think that those on the higher elites are. Where everything has a mix. Everything is mixed. And when we motivate the light better than the dark and expose things like we're supposed to and govern things like we're supposed to, then that code of ethics going to move equally forward for everybody. Those in that organization know that.
It looks like people are having trouble hearing you, and I noticed that your sound did go different. So, you know what, Blue? We got almost an hour, and that's pretty good. Hi, Barbara. And it was a good one. And we attracted Indians today. Kind of love that.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. So what
Can
about
you
you guys?
guys hear me?
Can
So
you hear?
look, all I'm saying is the higher order of elites, don't be so scared of them. Just know the good and the bad. There are ones that run in the good part of the order, and there are ones that run in the bad part of the order. And eventually, both parts of the order, whether it's Illuminati, Vatican, Rothschilds, this, that, doesn't matter. Guess what? They're all going to join together because they already know who runs the show here. And that's above them, and that's the source. That's the divine. And that divine runs on the augmented codes of lower reciprocal beings that monitor even the corporations of the leadership protocols here.
I
Did
love
you all
that.
get that?
We are still live. Yes. If you have a question, throw it at us now. We're not sure how much longer we'll be allowed to be live, but we're getting some really interesting questions, and Blue's on her game today. Thank you, Bas.
Well, you guys, well, I'm gonna just have to warn you. We got 2 different lives now because they totally cut us off the first time,
Oh my
and it went. I'm into 2 minutes on another live, so the hell, I don't know what to
God. Oh, so Squatch wants to know about sleep paralysis. What does it mean when you go into when you can't move and you're sleeping? Is that
Yes,
like
that's a medical term. That could be imposed as a medical term, or they could be such an improvisation of a hyper REM statistic coda that they are stuck in that type of zoning affair in their sleep and they can't get out of it.
wow? It's sounds really scary. I think it's happened to me actually, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, all right. Thank you, Bass Girl. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you guys are all here. I think this has been an amazing show, and everybody watching has participated. Really, it's been great. Is there anything that you want to say, Blue?
Don't give up hope.
Don't give up.
And hopefully with the new foundations of the corporations coming in now, this new administration, because as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to call it Biden, Trump, or anything administration. We're going to motivate this into a federation eventually soon.
Uh,
We're going to make
uh,
it a republic of the federation of planets for mankind.
I love it.
That's what needs to be maintained. And
Yeah.
hopefully the certain entities that are running now are going to be, they will see that code of ethic through. And as well as utilizing nuclear science instead of nuclear weaponry.
Wow. Yeah, Mark says no more presidents. I like it. Okay, so yes, love and light to you too, Bass Girl. Hi, Star. Yes, Blue does have her own page. I believe that's in the comments, and you can also check her out on Facebook. And she is a regular guest on my show, The Beach Report. But this is the first time you guys are seeing her on my show on YouTube, so it won't be the last. Anyway, welcome back, Blue. Good to see you again. Life has been very crazy, and it's been really hard for us to get together. But I'm so glad we can do it like this. This makes it a lot easier. So
Yes.
we'll be able to have you back on more.
Yes. And I hope everything is going well with you too, Jelly.
Thank you so much, and thank you for saying that. My little dog is healing, and
Yeah, prayers for her dog, please, people.
yes, prayers for my dog. She's doing a lot better, so it's gonna be good. All right, you guys, thank you so much for participating in today's interview. I think it was like the best part was that you guys were also your questions were amazing. So thank you guys, and thank you so much, Blue. I'm glad we finally got back together again, and I know I will see you again soon. So you have a wonderful day. You want to say goodbye to everyone? Now's your chance.
Take it easy and onwards and upwards, and let's motivate the new age together. Let's create the divine within ourselves, and let's find that stability. Find the peace, find the happiness, find that protective layer, wrap it around yourselves, and make that motivation happen.
Totally.
It's going to depend on us now, all to make a difference. Not just me, not just you, not just Donald Trump,
All of us.
Elon Musk, whoever. We all have to start making a difference, and that has to become a positive one if we're going to make this planet change for the better.
That is so
true. We want to move to Mars, but we got to fix this planet too. And we have to start getting rid of these negative entities and what they are doing if we want to create that fix.
Yes, I love that. And I want everyone to know that you can fight negativity with positivity. It's quite possible, and you need to do it. And you need to always have a smile on your face and get through everything, knowing that if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Yeah, that's what President Trump sure found out, right? All right, thank you so much, Blue. I'm going to say ciao for now and arrivederci. See you guys on the next Beach Report. Thanks again, Blue. Have a great day.
Thank you, Joe.